And finally, welcome back to the Entertainment Audio Show with Jordan and Lane. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Lane.
So
Oops.
it's been a minute.
My bad.
A few minutes. Not just his bad, my bad too. Oh, things
Our
have
bad.
gotten real crazy. We did record an episode in January though.
That one is my bad.
That is
That
yeah,
one. That one. Because I waited to I was gonna edit it, and I went to download it from the thing that we used to download it, forgetting that it only held the recording for a week, and this was day 8 that I went to go download it. I missed it by less than 24 hours. Because I'm not smart. Apparently.
Yeah. So we have our first official Lost episode.
That didn't take very long.
In the beginning of that episode, though, I did make a joke. That the last time you'd heard me and Lane talk, because it was going to be a little late too. It was going to be like mid-February when it released, and they said the last time you've heard us talk, we were arguing about Die Hard, and we wanted to reassure you that the reason why the episode was not late, the episode was late, was nothing to do with our friendship being broken because of our argument. We're still friends. I feel like I should make this joke now more than ever, now that it's been 3 months.
Yeah. We had our Christmas special, and then it's just March. Like, that's...
We always joked that we were going to do this so Lane can do a Christmas special, and it almost is funny that it almost ended with the Christmas special.
Like, the whole... Jeez. And it's so funny, too, because, like, just life on both of our sides has gotten in the way.
Been crazy.
I don't know if... Oh, no, I don't think I mentioned last time. I'm in school again, going for a master's degree. And for me, that's what's been getting in my way. Still don't regret it. But still.
That's good.
At least that's what I'm gonna blame. Not my own stupidity. Again.
Yeah.
But
there's also this time management crisis that we've had over the last few months. Is also the reason why there's not a whole lot we're going to be talking about in this episode.
yeah, like
you also have another thing you just told me is another reason
I have
why
a
we
new
don't have
addiction
a whole lot to talk about.
I haven't been around to see a bunch of movies. You've just been busy with work and everything and life, right?
And wrestling.
And that too. And now I'm getting into that.
You're welcome.
Yes, it is your fault. I'm not regretting it though, because I'm glad I'm getting to see John Cena's last year.
It's a wild ride. He's got a song.
Supposedly. Yeah, we are recording this as of March 24th. So he is really into the whole heel thing right now.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's learning the terms too.
I only know that one because of this this show with Stephen Amell called Heels.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, I know that term because of that show. Otherwise, not a clue. But yeah, it also made me laugh that a few weeks ago, Robbie Amell, when they were in Canada, Robbie Amell was there at.
He was.
I think it was Raw. I don't even know.
Was that Raw? Or was that Elimination Chamber?
It might have been Elimination Chamber. I don't remember. I literally don't remember. Yes, it was Elimination Chamber. But it all was a blur to me. Yeah, it was.
That was it.
I forgot about that.
He won it and then turned on Cody with the Rock.
With the eyes and the face and the...
Can't wait to see where the story goes, though.
I'm scared for the Make-A-Wish kids. I mean that both as a joke and not as a joke. If anybody's curious, he's always the one that like gets all the Make-A-Wish kids. And I'm pretty sure he had to have had a bunch cancel on him at this point.
So, funny story. I don't know if I told you this. This came out.
I don't know if this is going to be a funny story.
The day after Elimination Chamber. He actually held his last Make-A-Wish meet and greet before the show.
I didn't know it was his last.
Yeah, he met with like a handful of Make-A-Wish kids, and apparently they said that was going to be his last one. And I wonder if it's because of this character change.
I really needed to come back. But anyway, if we're not careful, this whole show is going to become about wrestling. Golly. Anyway, but outside of that kind of entertainment stuff, I'll go ahead and say it. I may or may not have discovered a video game on PlayStation. It's not a new game. It's like 5 years old or something like that. But it has consumed my life. It's called Elite Dangerous, if anybody's curious at home. It's a space game. And I think I've talked about my love of space on this podcast, but I'm not entirely sure. My entire life revolves around my love of space, my love of sci-fi, my love of Star Wars, Star Trek, the fact that my dog's name is Riker. Like, I've used the name Apollo in more video games than I wish to admit as, like, pets and animals in games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm pretty obsessed. And I can now, in this game, I get to fly a spaceship. I have flight sticks, and I get to fly a spaceship. And I finally, within a week, I was in the Sol system. You have to unlock the Sol system, which is our system, to be able to do a flyby of Earth or flyby of the moon. And I'm just like, this is fantastic. I'm trying not to cry flying by the moon. But yeah, I've put 103 hours into the game in under a month.
As I told you when you told me this about 20 minutes ago, told him if there's any kind of game that would accomplish this, it would be a space game for you.
But specifically like a game where you actually control someone in space. Like, that's the thing too. Is I'm always obsessed about all of the levels and all of the things. If a character goes to space, I will watch that. My favorite Call of Duty is Infinite Warfare, because the whole thing is essentially in space. I'm that obsessive. Well, maybe not obsessive. Well, yeah, obsessive a little bit. Unfortunately.
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
Would ever your love of space and your hatred of horror movies ever conflict?
Yes.
So, like, the video game series Dead Space.
Alien? No. Dead Space? No, won't touch it.
So will that not, one overpowers.
Nope. That overpowers my hatred or dislike of... Because I'm like, if I'm going to go and I'm going to go read, or not read, but play a video game. I've had to read books recently because of school, sorry. If I'm going to go play video games, I want to play a game that I enjoy. So that takes over. I have seen one movie that was a thriller in space. And I didn't hate it.
What was it?
Europa.
I don't know this movie.
It's it was like essentially the Europa Report. Sorry, Europa Report. It has I don't know if I can pronounce these names right. Charlton Copley. And Andre Block. Andre Block Andre Block. He's the Russian bad guy from the John Wick, the first John Wick movie.
The young guy?
No, the father.
The father. Okay.
The one that speak. Yeah, he's in this movie. Basically, they go to Europa, the moon of Jupiter. Okay. Don't want to spoil it, just in case, but it is a thriller, and I didn't hate it until the end. No, I'm kidding. But it was actually like a surprisingly good movie. actually enjoyed it for the most part. But they even had like it was like found footage type stuff where you're watching it from the point of view of like security cameras aboard or news cameras or stuff like that. So it was almost like it was the footage was sent back. Is that? No. So it was like almost like the footage was sent back in real time or whatever. And somebody took the found footage and made it into a film. It's really, really cool. I enjoyed that element of it. But anyway, so like that was the first time that I've ever seen something that could qualify as a scary movie that I actually enjoyed.
Okay.
But I can't do worse than that. Nope.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm like, I wonder if he ever gets those conflictions where he thinks about it for a second.
Oh, 1,000%. Like there's one called Apollo 18. It's just
Oh
straight up a
yeah,
scary movie. And I'm like,
yeah.
nope, I'm
I
not
do know
touching
that
that
one
with a 10-foot or Life.
with Ryan
No, thank
Reynolds,
you. Yeah,
which is I remember I haven't not seen
and Jake
Life,
Gyllenhaal.
but I remember seeing the trailer for it and everybody being like, oh, so this is like a Venom prequel, right?
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. That's kind of funny. I don't, and I love comedies in space, but I won't touch a. Mm-mm.
Okay.
If it's actually scary, I won't touch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's also why I look forward to so many movies throughout the years because you get good sci-fi, and oddly enough, that's kind of what I'm going to school for. I don't know if I mentioned this. I did mention I was in school, but I don't think I said what for. I'm going back for creative writing, and I want to write sci-fi. That's like my thing, and I'm very excited about it. But speaking of movies, you've seen some stuff I haven't.
Very few things. I've only is wild to think. Actually, I have one more little thing in here. I have an update to something. So I'll put this at the end.
Oh,
We talked about this in our lost episode, but I
Hmm.
need to bring that back up. But yeah. So I've only went to the movies and seen 3 movies this year. One of them
Okay.
was repeat watching. I take that back. I've seen one of these movies 3 times. But
Goodness gracious.
if you had to guess which one that was,
Uh, the second one on our list.
yes.
Perfect.
But the first one I saw the movie Love Hurts with Ke Huy Quan,
Mm-hmm.
and
How was it?
Ke Huy Quan is great in it.
Oh no.
It's one of those movies I walked out and I wish that was better. It's a really fun movie. There's a lot of really cool scenes. There's a lot of things I like about it. The performances are mostly pretty good. Just at the end, it feels like there should have been more. So that's how I felt about Love Hurts. But
I gotcha.
a week later, or a week-ish later, Captain America: Brave New World came out. This is the one I have seen 3 times.
So hopefully that means that it was good.
I like it a lot. It
Okay.
definitely is a lot better than the internet would lead you to believe it to be.
Okay, because I have seen it on uh Rotten Tomatoes and I think a little bit on IMDb, and some of the people are like not nice.
No, no,
For lack of
and
better words.
and most of the people that I know that saw the movie came out and was like, I don't understand though. This movie's getting the hate it's getting because it's not the greatest movie in the MCU. It's
Mm-hmm.
as I told my friend that I saw it with the second time. Um, it's very much got that phase 1, phase 2 feel.
Okay.
It very much feels like one of those movies. Um, Hard to say stuff without spoiling stuff. I know that they kind of marketed it as like a Winter Soldier type movie, and it definitely has that. Um, it has that vibe in it. You can tell to a degree that there was probably some reworking done to the movie during the production of it.
Okay.
I don't feel like it hurt it all too much personally for me. Um, it definitely though, like it definitely rides on the strengths of the charisma and of Anthony Mackie.
Okay.
And oddly enough, this is not a spoiler. It is not distracting that Harrison Ford took over that role. I don't know if it's the way they did it or if Harrison Ford is just that good.
I feel
It
like it
wasn't
might be the
distracting.
latter, but at the same time, because everything he's in, I feel like he does really, really well in.
Yeah, this was pretty good. It kind of had that. There was actually a moment after the first time I saw it, and this is nothing against was it William Hurt that originally played uh General Ross? Nothing against him, but I did have a moment after the first one, or I think it was while I was watching one of the big scenes, one of the monologue scenes. I was like, man, I is it bad? I kind of wish we could have had Harrison Ford the entire time.
I feel like he does that though with any role he's in, where you end up wanting him more and more and more.
Hmm.
Granted, growing up and like seeing all the movies he was in, including Star Wars, of course.
Hmm.
Um, Whenever he's on screen, he just kind of captures everyone's attention, including everybody in the scene with him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Uh,
That
Man,
makes sense.
Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford scenes together, it is like a magnet to like keep you in it. At least this is all from me, because let me tell you, if you read social media, there are people that will argue against all that. But that's
Well,
why,
it gives me
as we
hope because I
say,
want to see it. I definitely want to see it. I have less hope now for Love Hurts, but I have a lot of hope for Cap because you and I
yeah,
tend to agree a lot,
I
especially when it
think
comes to Marvel
I think
movies.
you would like Cap a lot because I know that you
Okay.
do really like some of those early MCU movies.
Oh, Captain America: The First Avenger is my favorite, hands down
And
favorite
and
Marvel
if you
movie.
ask a lot of people, they would say that's the weakest of the Captain America movies.
How dare they? They're wrong. No, I am kidding. I'm kidding. But
It's
I love that
not that First
feeling.
Avenger's not good. It's that the other two are very strong.
And it's really, really funny because I feel the complete opposite. I feel Civil War in order of my favorite Caps films. It is First Avenger, then it's Civil War, and Winter Soldier's way at the bottom.
That's interesting to me because Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie.
Winter Soldier might be my second or third least favorite.
Wow.
But I don't like the psychological
Oh,
elements.
um,
Like that's a huge thing. What?
nothing.
Oh no.
Can't wait to talk once
What?
you see this movie.
Great. No, I don't like the conspiracies. Now, I don't like the conspiracies are that don't get resolved. Does that make sense?
Don't get resolved. Okay.
Conspiracies that don't get resolved. Because I feel like in Winter Soldier there are conspiracies that don't get resolved. I might be wrong about that. I need to go back and rewatch it
I will say I'll give it
because
that
it's been a bit.
because it does kind of leave the spot like, okay, we know Hydra's back. You have the feeling that we're probably going to get a movie for about them.
Oh, you're becoming robotic. Hang on. Hold up. You have turned into a robot.
What that
You uh for those at home, we apologize. Give us one moment. We will be right back. Sorry about that. We were having technical issues. I don't know if they were on my end or Jordan's end or whatever.
Middle.
I know we use Discord to record, and sometimes it gets angry when we try. But anyway, you were saying. My apologies.
Oh yeah, you were talking about Winter Soldier having the
Yeah.
non-relution of the conspiracy talk, and I said I do kind of see where you're coming from that, because it kind of ends with them knowing Hydra is back, and it kind of leads to thinking that that's going to be something we're going to talk about more in the future, and they don't really do it.
Yeah.
They just kind of resolve that during events of other things briefly.
I like the action element and I like the story, but there was just something about it that I'm looking back through like pictures on IMDb now, and it's not entirely the way that I remember it. Maybe it was just my first viewing was that way, and I've just kind of held on to that feeling. I don't know, but there's still the psychological element with Shield itself, them having Overwatch and all of that, making me. I don't know. I feel weird when movies start getting too close to real life in a lot of ways.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I feel like
I
that
will say there
one
is a little bit
got that way.
of that kind of some things going on since in this, but I wouldn't say it's close to real life.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better. I'll still watch it because I'll still enjoy it. I will say this:
Got a
Steve
shield in it.
Rogers. So you know I'm going to watch it. Steve Rogers is still like my favorite version of Captain America, but I love all versions of Captain America, even like comic book ones. U.S. Agent, one of my favorite now anti-heroes. Red Guardian, Captain Carter, the whole like list of people. Sorry, I got very confused. I was like looking through, and there was an actress that was apparently in at the premiere, and of Winter Soldier, and it threw me off for a second. So it was like not a name that I expected to see in that list.
Something that happened 10 years ago, 11 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. This person, I don't know. Again, I don't remember yesterday most of the time. But anyway, so there was that. What about? And then you mentioned that there were some other things.
Yes.
Some shows that you'd watched.
Yeah, some shows. Also staying in the essentially the Marvel realm here for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier I think it debuted in January. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man debuted. January 29th to be exact. It just popped up on my screen. I have IMDb rolling. And
how is that?
My biggest surprise of the year. It is incredible. I will say the animation takes a minute to get used to, but the storytelling, the writing is great, and I cannot wait for more. And they've already greenlit a season 2 and 3.
I've actually actively avoided this show.
Yeah, specific reason?
No, it just didn't seem like my can't spell, but no, I don't know. Some of the choices, I think, and I must have been watching something around the time that it premiered, and like some of like the choices of changing some characters. I don't have a problem with the changing of characters if it benefits the story, or if it doesn't affect the story. It's weird. I don't know where I'm going with that sentence.
Well, I'll tell you there's a non-spoiler thing.
Because
What
if
I
you're
like
telling me
about
it's
this,
good, that makes me very excited and want to go back and watch it.
So I know originally this show was to be planned to be the origins of our MCU Peter Parker into Spider-Man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's no longer that.
Well, yeah.
And I think that was for the better.
Okay. So
It is
this is like
it
an
is
alternate version?
it is. So essentially,
I think that's really what's kind of scared me away from it was the thought of it being. I don't know what I'm saying about this.
so the way I made a joke to my friend, because this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not really because it doesn't affect the show. Um, it's a multiverse story, but everything up to Civil War is the same. It's Civil War beyond is what changes. And it's actually really fun to watch those changes because everything's happening in the background.
Okay.
And essentially, I joked to my friend that this is the universe in which Sony isn't playing with Disney and didn't let them use Spider-Man for their Civil War movie.
Oh.
Because you actually see clips on the news of the battle in the airport in Germany.
Oh.
That's happening. All that's happening in the background. Things that happen in those movies and that movie kind of affects things that happen in this story. If you know Civil War, you probably know what I'm talking about.
I think I do. See, that makes me excited when it is its own entity, and I guess really the reason why I was nervous about it was simply that it seemed like it was supposed to fit into a thing, and then them changing characters made it no longer fit into that thing, which made it feel awkward.
No, this is its own
But it's
universe.
its own thing. Oh, that makes me excited.
I
Like I don't even know who.
I had a thing pop in my brain and it disappeared. Um,
I think what confused me, and I don't know if this is supposed to be MJ or not,
Mm.
but the gothic
no,
blue
that's not
hair,
MJ.
black hair. That's
That's
not
not MJ.
MJ. I've been
No,
thinking that's MJ.
no, that is an already established character from another comic book.
Oh, okay.
Actually, there's several already established characters that are in this show that
But did they change them up
may
like that? Where
actually the characters that are in it, there is the two characters specifically that did have a bit of a change, but most of the characters that you see in the show that have extensions elsewhere, um,
Mhm.
are what they need to be now to wind up
Oh
becoming those
wait.
characters.
Oh heck. Wait, why do I know that name?
Which one?
Amadeus Cho.
Cho? So Amadeus
Is that
Cho in the comic books
Oh!
is the Hulk.
Oh! Yes.
The Hulk that loves being the Hulk.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I've got to watch the dang show.
Yeah. I can tell you this because they used it as part of the marketing when they talked about it at I think D23, and I think we talked about it in our D23 recap. Maybe not D23, maybe SDCC, one of those two. That the main trigger outside of Spider-Man not being involved with Civil War, the big part that makes this a multiverse is that you see the moment that in Civil War, Peter Parker meets Tony Stark. In this one, he meets Norman Osborn.
Oh.
So it's like instead of his mentor being Tony Stark, how does Peter Parker develop with his mentor being Norman Osborn?
Oh.
I will also say Peter's story in the show is incredible. The writing's great. There's another character in this show that his story is equally as good. At some points,
No.
his story is actually better than Peter's
Oh, now I'm gonna have
and
to.
more investing.
I'll have to eat dinner in a little bit and
It's a very easy show to
watch
binge
this.
because they are 25 minutes. And
Oh no! Don't tell me that. I know what I'm doing this weekend.
I think there's 10 episodes. I think.
Oh, I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm not flying my spaceship. I'm watching your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, you'll be done in let's see, 20 minutes, 3 an hour. Let's say that's 3-ish, 2.5 shows an hour. You could finish it in like a day maybe.
I was gonna say I could probably finish it in one sitting.
I think the episodes are 25-ish minutes long. But yeah.
One sitting.
Also, not a spoiler.
Joke.
Like I said,
Okay.
the animation at time it takes a minute to get used to.
I like how you're ignoring my joke.
I didn't. Oh, sorry, I did not hear it. What did you say?
I said I could do it in one sitting.
Of course you can.
That's like 3 days for me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry. I've been like literally when you go back and listen to this part, or if anybody listens to this part, you're gonna be talking, and you're just gonna hear me in the background going, one sitting. One sitting, you get it? And you're just like Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Okay, sorry.
but like I said, the animation does take a minute to get used to. It's very much they kind of give it the very similar to like the classic Spider-Man comic animation, very similar to that. And it almost looks like a comic book coming to life. And at first, kind of distracting, but the more you get into it, the less distracting it gets. That was at least for me. My brother said the same thing. But yes, some of the action sequences in the show would have been an animated Spider-Man. Like I get PlayStation Spider-Man vibes from some of the animation from the action scenes. Like he fights like a Spider-Man should. If that makes sense.
That okay. Quite literally when you said PlayStation, I remember some of the fights from like old PlayStation games, and I remember seeing one of the fights from one of the trailers, and I do remember it does have that vibe. Oh,
I will ask this: is the fight you're talking about? Is it the one with the brick?
remember? I don't remember. It was in one of the trailers,
So,
but I
if
wasn't
you're
really
using
paying attention because I wasn't getting into it. I had no interest in getting into it, and now I'm. Yeah.
There's a part of me that's like, I don't know how much you know about the show.
I don't know anything.
Okay, so I almost don't want to tell you about who you see in the first episode.
Okay, no, please. Let's move on.
He was heavily involved in the marketing, which is why like I can talk about it without being a spoiler. But I'm also like, if he doesn't know, I almost would rather him not know.
I straight up don't know. I've avoided the marketing.
Okay, well, don't do anything. I can't wait. I can't wait to see if your brain clicks what happens at the end of this show.
I'm gonna.
Because it is wild what happens at the end.
Well, now I know. I'm gonna scroll a little bit so that I can get away from the videos that are playing. Because I'm on the IMDb page for it, and I don't want to be cheated. But yeah. Okay, so that's something else I've got to do. Was there anything else you wanted to say, or did you want to go on to the next part?
I almost want to stop talking about this now, so I don't accidentally spoil something else.
Well, I appreciate the lack of spoilers. So I guess we can go on to the next show you were wanting to talk about.
Yeah, the ongoing show, which I am caught up on. You are not. I know you said you watched the first episode of Daredevil Born Again.
I did.
And you said you had some interesting thoughts about that.
I don't remember saying that, but I'll take your word for it.
Maybe you did. I don't know. You said something around the lines of that. Maybe not.
I don't know. Like it's an interesting show, and I'm curious to see where it goes. But I don't know much past the first episode.
Okay, I will say, I do know from being somebody who is online a lot and has a lot of friends who are into the same, into this kind of stuff too. I do know the first episode was very polarizing and how they started that show.
Oh yeah. I forgot for a minute. Yeah.
We're in spoiler free, so I don't want to say if you haven't seen it. And I don't know if we want to talk about it later or if we want to talk about it once we get caught up, maybe once the show ends on another episode.
I think we're at that point where I need to watch it. Now I've got 2 Marvel shows I need to catch up on.
Mm-hmm. I will say, from my personal standpoint, from anybody who's caught up, I know a lot of people are mad at that specific thing. I think that's going to wind up becoming very important because I think it's very important for Matt.
I'll agree.
That being said,
what I know.
I'm very much enjoying this show. Episode 3 is probably my favorite episode so far. And this is not really a spoiler. But because we know Matt Murdock is a lawyer, and he does a lot of lawyering in that episode. And boy, is it really good to see Charlie Cox just do some lawyering.
That's funny. How many episodes are out so far?
4, with another one coming out tomorrow night, every Tuesday at 6.
Okay.
So
well,
I'm gonna miss tomorrow's episode when it drops. I'm gonna be doing something, but yeah, we were saying there's 4 episodes, one coming out tomorrow. Actually, we may get 2 tomorrow.
I'm seeing on the IMDb page it looks like 2.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, I know they have a weird release schedule for it, but I'm excited to see where it goes. I do know they're setting some stuff up that probably not involved with this. We won't see happen in this show. Maybe some stuff we see down the road that I'm actually very excited to see if they decide to do. But yeah, it's fun. As somebody who, and I've said on this show a few times, I'm a huge fan of the Netflix Daredevil shows. It's great to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio just do their thing as Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk.
I'll say, I feel like of the different variations that we've had of Wilson Fisk, I feel like Vincent is the most believable that we've ever had.
I agree with that. I also think it's because he himself wants to be good at it. He wants it to be good. He loves it as much as we love him. Same way with Charlie.
But there's something else about him too, and I don't know if you know this. If I recall correctly, I think he's got, I don't want to say it in case I'm wrong. I think he plays a lot of soft-spoken characters with Treble Pass. Literally a line off of his IMDb page. But he almost seems like he's like on the spectrum to a degree. So when he plays a role, he doesn't just play it. He is that character from the moment they say action.
Right.
And he's amazing in everything that I've seen him in. He was in a no, it wasn't a comedy, but he was in a movie years ago. One of my favorite movies, oddly enough. It was The Magnificent Seven. It was the remake in 2016. Yeah. His character caught me so off guard, and I love that movie so much. It is so good. But that was kind of when I was like, oh, because up until that point, I think I'd only ever seen him on whatever that show is called, Law and Order.
Right.
I'd seen him in Law and Order.
Have you seen Jurassic World?
Yes.
He's in that.
Where?
He plays the guy that is trying to talk Chris Pratt into like weaponizing the raptors.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he loses he is disarmed by a raptor.
I was defeated.
Jokes of our past.
Um, Turtle. Um, but yeah, he definitely feels like he plays like these characters in these roles. He gets into it, and I feel like that's what's helping him so much. As see, it's funny because now I can't even think of the characters. Kingpin. He's so good
Yeah.
at Kingpin, and then the fact that they've had him in multiple shows now as Kingpin. He is no longer Vincent playing Kingpin. He is Kingpin. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I
he is.
love when actors can get lost in roles like that.
Yes. He's very much a character actor.
But it's interesting because you say that, but I've seen him in different types of roles. But I've seen him get lost in different. I don't know. It's weird. I'm excited to see where this stuff goes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping he makes it to the big screen in this
Oh,
role.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I need a Defenders movie. That's what I need.
I think it could happen. And if it's a movie, somebody else can join in. Another
You lost me.
vigilantes rolling the streets of New York that cannot be used
That's
in
true.
television shows made by Marvel, live action television shows, but can be used in movies as long as they work together. Do them. And at the end of his
Until they
last
lose the
movie,
light.
became a New York vigilante, listening to police scanners in his little apartment.
Yep. Was he a Defender though?
No, but I mean, it's like a comic book. You can add anybody to any group if you really want to.
That's true. Well, that
You have
just
a
makes me so excited. I'm so excited about this year and stuff like that as well.
yes. Oh,
Um,
I do
you
want to
did,
talk
yeah,
about one movie that technically came out last year, and you've actually heard me talk about. But I told you in
yes,
that one I
go for it.
wanted to give an update because I wanted to watch it again, and that's Wicked.
And your
I re-
update.
so the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure if I did enjoy the movie because of the movie itself or if it was external because it was a lot of
Mhm.
things going on around. Turns out it was external.
Really,
I loved it the second time. I cried.
really.
Yes, I cried. I have downloaded the soundtrack. I it was almost like watching a completely different movie, even though I knew
Hmm.
all what was happening. There is one little bit there that I still like. This isn't the best, but overall, I left that theater being like, wow, that was great. I love that. So
So you saw it in theaters on their second time.
in theaters the second time too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Well, that makes me feel better about it, but at the same time, I still don't know.
that's fair. It's
Oh,
not a movie for everybody.
I like musicals, but I don't know. That seems like for me it could go either way. But again, I may not be the target audience, which is fine.
But yeah, that's fine. And for a moment I had that same thought about me when I walked out. I'm like, everybody around me is liking this movie. My friend, we're talking to my friends and my brother, and we were sitting in the theater when the lights came back up, and they asked me what I thought. I'm like, I'm going to answer that question outside, but I'm not surrounded
I do
by
remember that.
a bunch of Wicked fans who are literally in tears right now. And then
Yeah.
fast forward 2 months later, I watch it in theaters. I'm in tears.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like it's one of those things where, and this is the things I cry at. Sometimes it's like related to the source, what's happening on the source, but sometimes I'll cry just for like movie magic.
Hmm.
And they kind of build in the finale. They're kind of building in a way that like it it gave an emotional response for me. It's almost like, and we've talked on this podcast before that we are Disney fans, Disney Parks fans.
Hmm.
Fantasmic's the same way for me.
Yep, I get that.
And the build up at the end of Fantasmic is so good that I cry every time I see it because it's just pure Disney magic.
Well, see, now I gotta watch the dang movie.
I can just Wicked.
Yeah,
Well, if you do, let me know.
it's on
What do you
Peacock.
think? It is on Peacock now. That's right. I might put that on tonight.
I told somebody earlier, a couple days ago, that I wasn't interested in watching it, but we'll see.
All right. Well, if you watch it, let me know what you think. I do know though, there's a movie that you watched on a streaming service that I didn't watch on a streaming service, and if you heard
Yeah,
that,
I have feelings about that movie. I watched Electric State. I regret watching Electric State.
it's not very often you regret watching something.
No, it's not. I've been looking forward to this movie for like 6+ months. Or whenever it was announced. I don't even remember.
I remember you
I was
texted me when it
so
was
excited
announced.
about it. Yeah.
Like, did you hear about
And
this? Read this bizarre plot.
yeah. And I was so looking forward to it. And there were there would be times that I would like get into it and then something would happen and it would like pull me out of it. As like a shut your brain off kind of movie, it's kind of nice. It's fun. But it just didn't feel like I think it was intended to feel.
Right.
And it's not a family movie. It is a PG-13 through and through. And hearing Mr. Peanut curse, not a fun thing.
Mm.
That was the first big thing that like pulled me out. And I won't spoil it, but I don't know, man. This was one of those things that I literally watched and was like, there were lines in it that didn't make any sense to me. And even like looking at it from the point of view of how the book was apparently written, even with that in mind, it still didn't make any sense to me. Some of the comparisons that were made, and then just some, I don't know.
Before we started recording, we actually went on Rotten Tomatoes and we were reading some of the critic reviews, and you said that it's one of the first time that you have agreed with a majority of the critic reviews.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. Because as of right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 15%. But this is funny. Didn't I say? Do you remember the percentage I said of the popcorn meter? Wasn't it like 75?
70 something? Yeah.
Okay, because now it's sitting at a 71.
Okay, so his dropped since we checked it less than an hour ago.
Yeah, I think it has.
All right,
And
right
so
at an
that's
hour.
the thing.
That's crazy. More people are watching it, and they're like, "Wow, shouldn't have done that."
Yeah, like my rating would probably be like a 2 or 3 out of 5 at most. I feel like giving it a 4 or 5 is out, no matter what. But there was just little elements that just kind of it just, to me, it missed the mark. It had so much potential, and there were scenes that were hilarious.
This is coming from somebody who liked, oh gosh, what was the name of that movie? The 2-parter on Netflix that Zack Snyder did.
Rebel Moon.
It's space. Never mind.
Yeah. That right there should tell you about that. But
yeah.
But this was robots, and I love robots.
Once today.
I
think that we already talked about space once today.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that again. But yeah, but there have been other movies that I was this excited about, watched, and was like, oh, okay, that was okay. But this is the first time I literally watched a movie and went, I wish I had that 2 hours back of my life. I could have played a video game.
I have a question.
There's only ever been one movie that I've ever regretted watching before this one, and it was a movie that made me like.
I think we talked about this before.
I don't want to think about it
with the Game of Thrones girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emilia Clarke.
Yes.
It was the only movie that one's the only movie that ever made me want to leave a theater. This one, I was like, I watched it. Okay.
So I have a question. I'm currently on IMDb looking at the poster for this movie. Is Chris Pratt supposed to look like Han Solo for a reason?
Yes.
Because Chris Pratt looks like a mixture of Star-Lord and Han Solo in that picture.
This takes place in the early 90s. And
So the prequels never happened.
no, not yet at least. So he has a very like late 80s, early 90s look to him.
10-4. 10-4.
And that is intentional. Without spoiling anything, it's interesting.
Okay.
It's
I
it's an
might.
interesting movie.
If one the thing about this movie is like you told me all these bad things, and a part of me is like I'm not gonna waste my time. But there's another part of me is like if I have 2 hours and nothing to do, I might put it on just to
What
see.
make Yeah. But what makes me so mad about this, I'm going to be completely and utterly honest with you. What makes me so mad, this the cast is stacked.
Yeah,
Like
easy that
it
cast.
has it has Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, Woody Harrelson, Kei Kwan, um let's see, where Alan Tudyk. That makes sense. Uh Holly Hunter, Stanley Tucci. Like huge names. And then some not huge names,
Well,
but still
the thing
pretty
is,
big names.
there could be two reasons behind how they got these big names to do it. For one, it seems like the Russo brothers have a tendency to draw big names to their projects.
Mm-hmm.
But also, did you know that reportedly this is like Netflix's most expensive movie they've ever made?
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
It had like a $320 million budget.
And it's not going to make the money back.
Well, it's Netflix, so like the weird thing about Netflix is like how are you making money on it to begin with?
By getting people to stream your service and not cancel. This is one of those projects that I'm wondering how many people are canceling.
Because of it?
Yeah,
That's fair.
if any. If anybody's watched it. Like, I'm looking at the IMDb as well. It's got a 6.0. I, I think that's a high rating.
I
I
think they were
genuinely think
expecting
so.
I think I remember hearing something was that Netflix was expecting this to become like their most streamed movie ever, and I don't think it even got to the top 5
No.
for like the week. At least I think I remember hearing something about that on one of the sites, but
Wait, who else did it? There's another guy. Oh, dang. I scrolled down to user reviews and the very first the featured review is a D plus movie is the title of that review.
ooh,
Yeah. But yeah, this is like the first time that I've ever agreed more with the critics than the audience, which is weird even saying it out loud. I wanted to like this movie so bad cuz it's got such a cool concept. But I think we've only got a couple more minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Were there
So
any
and there were a few. That's everything I've seen recently.
Okay.
Um, so anything you want to talk about going forward?
I mean, there's a few things that like I'm super excited about for this year. Ballerina, which is in the John Wick franchise, but I'm
Yes.
still like I can't figure out where it takes place within the franchise.
Well,
Um,
we know it's got to be pre John Wick 4.
yeah, which is where I'm so confused.
But some of the
Uh,
some of the marketing kind of leads me to believe it may be pre John Wick retiring.
Maybe? Like pre him finding his wife and getting out?
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. But I'm also starting to wonder. We never see John Wick interact with anybody else.
If he's like a mental,
I'm wondering if he's not a mental thing.
he's
He's Baba
Obi-Wan
Yaga.
Kenobi.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Force Baba Yaga.
He's a forced Baba Yaga. I think that she pictures him on the people trying to kill her. And it helps. I don't know. I think that she's projecting him onto people. But I don't know.
I do know that Ana de Armas did say in an interview that one of the funnest things she's done was involved in the fight scene. No, it wasn't the funnest thing she said. They were asking her about what it was like working with Keanu. That's what it was. And she's like, it was great. She said the fight scene we have together. And I'm like, huh? Excuse me, Ana de Armas. Miss de Armas.
That's a spoiler.
It's like, is that? I can't believe they even showed him in the marketing, but I guess
after she said it, they started showing him more and more.
Yeah, well, I mean, they showed him in the
That's how you get people in, though.
teaser. You got to let people know it's in it, besides just calling it ballerina from the world of John Wick.
Yeah. Well, that's one that I'm super excited about. One later this year, in like December, is Avatar: Fire and Ash. We don't really have to go into detail about that one because we've talked about that one so much.
Yes, but we keep getting little more and more tidbits. James Cameron keeps letting us a little bit know more about it, little by little.
Yeah, and I've watched most of the things, I think.
We should be getting close to a trailer, right?
If you hear me crying, then yes, we've gotten a trailer. I mean, like, you'll hear me from where you're at to where I'm at without any audio help. You'll hear me screaming and crying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think we could possibly get a trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash with one of these next movies you want to talk about that come out fairly soon.
So one of them I'm genuinely excited about and want to go see more than anything because I love the team. I love is the Thunderbolts. But again, we've talked about that. The other one is interesting.
This one surprised me.
I was not interested.
Pop up on our outline.
Well, see, I'm not super, and this is where it gets weird. I'm probably going to see it, but not because I've been looking forward to it, but because of the respect that I have for the filmmakers for it.
Okay.
I want to support them. I want them to see. So basically, what's happened? This is the Minecraft movie. People are already rolling their eyes. I can hear it from here. I want to talk about the Minecraft movie for just a second. So recently, there was a kid. I don't know if you've seen this. There was a kid who has cancer. And they said, what do you want to do? I don't know if this was like a Make-A-Wish or if this was just a thing that happened. He said, I want to see the Minecraft movie. The people that were involved on the film found out, sent a copy with one of the main actors from the film, one of the kids that's in the film, sent the kid and the film to the child with cancer, showed up at his local movie theater, and the two of them sat and watched the film. And like mom is like over in the corner away. So he got to be a normal kid for a while. After he watched the movie, it wasn't like the actor was like, okay, have a good one. Apparently they hung out for a while before and after the film. And then the day after he watched the movie, both Jack Black and Jason Momoa FaceTimed him, like the kid, and asked him his opinion on the movie. My respect for these filmmakers went through the roof when I found that out. And I want to support this film because of that. And I want other filmmakers to see that people love that sort of thing, which will hopefully encourage human kindness with future movies.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's on the list. And that's why it says Minecraft Respect, not Minecraft movie. Minecraft Respect.
That Minecraft excitement.
Yeah. It's more about the
Minecraft
respect because
respect.
the respect for the, like I said, for the directors and the actors and actresses in this film through the roof. And now I'm realizing I know that I'm not the audience for this movie. Am I going to watch it anyway? More than likely. Am I going to enjoy it? I hope I enjoy that nap. But
Hey, it can't be as bad as the Electric State.
you don't say that. Because it could very well be.
Because if you go past the badness of Electric State, you get into so bad it's good.
No, you don't. You don't. You said it, you of Electric State?
Yeah.
No, Under the Bad is just more bad.
That's true.
And then
I
under
I
that
guess
bad is
bad,
just more
not the
bad.
middle ground.
No.
It's like
No bad.
it's like a branch.
Me saying that was a bad movie is a positive spin on it.
Well, that's what I kind of meant.
Oh, my bad.
Is that if it gets way worse than Electric State, it may get into that so bad it's good.
Oh, I understand now. I was so focused when you compared it to Electric State. My dislike of that movie came back. My bad.
Well, now that we've
Again,
got Lane on a salty front again.
speaking of salty, I'm enjoying McDonald's fries.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, I'll get off my metaphorical high horse because I definitely can't get on a real one. Anyway, that's enough jokes and enough of me talking for now. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
I think that's everything. That X out of my. Hopefully, I have time to get back to a movie theater because there's been lots of movies that I've wanted to watch that I haven't had a chance to.
Same.
Novocaine.
I just need the finances to do it. Yes. Golly, we gotta go see that. Okay. Well, on that note, I guess I'm gonna say have a good one to the audience. Hopefully, it's not gonna be another 3 months before we get another episode. We'll see.
Really hope not.
Goodness gracious, this might have to be like a different thing, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Bye,
a good one.
everybody.